All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. We're coming to you live here from our studio in South Florida, bringing you our first impression session of our spotlight for the evening. And tonight we had the pleasure of showing off the Pirates flag. But first off, let's get some introductions out of the way, as usual. I'm Matt.
I'm Ann.
I'm Josh.
And we are Twist Gaming. So I said it before, and I'll say it again. We had the pleasure of doing the spotlight of the Pirates flag, and again, we would like to mention that this stream and all of this week's streams are brought to you by the Pirates flag as well as Helios Expanse. We had the pleasure of doing that one on Monday night, so if you haven't had a chance, go check out the video on demand on that as well.
That's on Kickstarter now.
Yep.
And this is coming to Kickstarter
the
17th.
So, quick recap on what the Pirates flag is. So this is a capture the flag, dice movement, take that style game.
So roll a move, take that game.
I feel like I just said that. So we are racing down the this snaking
You
river
wanna get
here.
board
And
cam?
I'm just going to go to the board cam so we can show it off, and I am
What?
not anywhere near there. So just 1 second, folks.
You could,
Bear with
zoom
me.
way out.
Yeah, I'll get that going too. So as you can see, this is the board here. So it's this snaking path that we're going to be on, and we start out over here on the Dread Sea. We're racing along these spaces over here to pick up the flag over in this corner, and then once we get it, it's a race to get the flag back out. All the while, we're going to be doing battle with each other, blowing each other up, and having a good time in the process.
Yes.
Oh.
Tucker's
face is stuck there.
Oh, was
on
it?
the board. Yeah, it's kind of.
Oh.
I didn't
It
take
didn't refresh it.
That's fine. So we're going to jump into the the part where we talk about our favorite aspects of the game.
Yeah.
And you are winner chicken dinner number 1 this evening.
You are? I am.
So
I am.
Please take it away. Tell us your favorite aspects about this game.
So, one of the things that Tucker really wanted to emphasize about the Card Lord's entire game series was that he was building games for kind of like the gateway games for
Yeah.
your beginner, that they weren't supposed to be super heavy in strategy, but, still with some card strategy that makes the game interesting enough for people who are more into board games to be interested in the game, stay interested in the game. I personally don't like take that style games. That's
I think a big part of that, too, is the people you play it with, namely myself and Josh. Hi. We are very aggressive when it comes to take that style games.
Be aggressive.
But I feel like that's the right kind of play style for a take that style game. So I feel like, personally, this is not my favorite play style. But I had a lot of fun. So I think that in take that style games, the thing that I don't like about it is the constant snatching where you feel like you don't have any recourse. And one of the things that I liked about the design of this game was the battle situation scenario, because you had to roll to take the flag. And if you won and you took the flag from the other player, you could escape, right? So sometimes in take that style games, like it's back, forth. But if you get the escape ability, then the game can progress.
It prevents you from just repeating the same thing
Yeah.
over and over and over. every
Yeah,
time.
and you get stuck. But in this game, if you keep the flag, you can roll and defend yourself. You can play cards to improve your chances with the die. You can play cards to reduce the success rate of your opponents. So I actually liked the way the take that kind of went in this particular game.
Okay.
I'm going to use that as a springboard.
Sure.
And one thing that both Josh and I think you as well, once I start saying it, will agree on, we have an issue when it comes to take that style games when there's a lot of abilities that prevent you from doing your actions.
Noping. All the nopes.
So noping is a good way to put it. And I think this game plays take that without resorting to just nope.
There's not a single note card in this game.
There was one, which is the it's
the
not
fog.
even a nope. It was the fog. So just cancel a card being played. But it's literally one card in this deck. So I think that overcomes a lot of the issues that this group in particular has with take that style games, because it doesn't prevent you from doing something.
Right.
It allows someone to counteract what you're doing with something else.
I think that gives the person, when you have a nope card, I think the intent is to prevent your opponent from doing the thing. I think that when you play a card that's like -2 on your dice roll, when I know that your dice roll is only going to go up to 6, maybe you're going to roll a 2, or -3 on your dice roll, there's a good chance that my negative is going to offset whatever it is that you do and will have the same impact of a nope, but I feel like the player who's getting the card played against them still has that fighting chance. You don't immediately feel like
you're just going to throw your card out the window. I'm like, I'm done. So chat brought up something here. I also like how all the cards are unique. So I definitely am going to side with that there. Every single one of the cards in this game is unique, which that's impressive because there's a lot of cards.
Yeah. And they play well together.
Yeah, they do. Part of that is the synergy card to card, and this plays off of how nice the artwork is on the action cards here. So we've got, this was an example he showed us just as he was signing off, is the giant mirror and the sun in the eyes. So if you look, the sun in the eyes, there's a little boat shining the light into your eyes to mess you up, and this is you reflecting the light into another boat to mess up their vision. So
I thought that was
it's
so good.
both sides of the coin, if you will.
I think it's so good.
But I really do appreciate that. Just the little details go a long way like that. Josh, how about you? What are some aspects of the game that you enjoyed?
I like that. The art on the cards is awesome. I like the waterfall mechanic to speed the first half of the game up.
Also rolling the double dice the first half of the game as well.
I think that there was a big difference between the first time that we played the game and the second time we played the game with how quickly we made it to the pirate's flag.
Also, the amount of cards that we wanted to have in our hands.
Yeah, the second time we're like, oh, we'll take our time because we want more cards.
Yeah.
Though the first time I rolled like an 11, and I'm just like, hey, I have to dash to the
Out
flag
of the gates.
because
Yeah.
I rolled super well. I like that. I like Matt. I know this is your thing. Unique player abilities. That was very cool.
And they weren't extremely overpowered player abilities.
And they're all like kind of luck based for the most part. Some of them weren't, but so I like that.
Mr. Colorblind, how did this game treat you?
There was no issues at all.
Was there an issue with the red wheel, blue wheel, white wheel?
No.
So one thing also, if you look at the cards here, the red wheels actually say you may play another card this turn.
And there's also an icon in the bottom right.
Is there?
In the background.
Yeah,
behind
so
the
if you
text.
look in the background, very faint, it might be hard to see on this camera, but there's a shadow of an anchor here, so that's the one you play on your turn.
There's a
There's
compass.
the map on this one, which is you play it multiple things, so that's the red wheel.
I didn't even notice
And then
that.
we've got the compass on the standard card, which is just the standard card. Play one per turn.
So there was a couple items on there that really. But I do like the cards are very just read the card.
Yeah.
And they tell you what to do, and they. So there's not many rules to know. It's just kind of you roll dice and you move and you do the thing. Yeah, no, I like that. I like. So it got very interesting in a few parts of the game where we were fighting over the flag right by a dock.
Yes.
Matt got like 10 cards because we kept going back and forth over the dock like a million times.
Yeah.
Which might change my future strategies of not doing that by a dock.
Right. You just
and
wait
you just
one
get
more
away.
turn and letting me get away a little bit more.
Yeah, and doing that. So yeah, I like the little mechanics like that.
One thing that I also want to say is I think it was pretty evident by watching the spotlight, but this game was very easy to pick up and play for the first time around. And I'm going to let you talk a little bit more to that one end just because you went in with the least experience in this game. You went in without having heard the rules. You just knew that it was a pirate game.
Yes. All I knew was the title.
So how easy was this game for you to pick up?
It was incredibly easy. You know, I have ADD, and one of the things that comes with ADD is poor short-term memory, so sometimes it makes it very difficult for me to pick up games.
Also, ADD comes with short-term memory problems. Sorry, I had to.
So I'm a big proponent of a quick reference guide. Give me something where I'm going to be able to checklist down, especially in a strategy game, because it's very difficult for me to strategize and keep that strategy in my mind and then try and remember the steps to turn. This game's very easy to pick up. I do want to point out that there were some cards where I was kind of stopped and had to question how it worked, but the cards, I always fell back on the fact that the cards were very literal.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just don't consider that. Like when you get a card that's on your next roll, for some reason,
Which roll? Literally, it's whatever your
next
roll is.
For some reason, I always associate it with your movement roll.
Right.
And I don't know
did
how to
that
get.
once or twice, but it's funny just because we're overcomplicating it in our mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's I think one of the times it's like I'm gonna add +2 to my roll. It's gonna either be one of you gonna try to attack me, or I'm gonna be able to run away further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the idea in my head.
Yep.
And then, but there's cards that sometimes they force you to roll for something completely different.
Yep.
So.
But I think with read the card kind of games, it's difficult if you have a lot of complicated movements to get enough text on the card to clearly explain what you want. And I think that they did a really good job of that. I think he stayed very simple and literal, and that made things much easier.
I agree. Is there anything else that you all want to talk about in terms of things that you enjoyed about this game before we move into the constructive criticism?
Last thing I wanted, I don't know what the official gameplay time on this was, but it was quick,
Yeah.
and that makes those take that kind of games
More tolerable.
Yeah.
not more. It's like there was two parts of it. It makes it a little bit more, since it's quicker. It's a little bit more tolerable if you don't really care for take that, but also if you do feel like you're behind, and I never felt like anyone was really behind at any point. Like you were maybe for a turn or two, but like not the whole game.
No.
You don't have someone stuck being like, I can't do anything for this game, and it's going to take another 2 hours to play. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
So it kept it nice and tight, and
Yeah.
where you didn't feel like the game was dragging on at any point.
Yeah.
All right, so constructive criticism time. This is where we talk about aspects of the game that we would like to see a little tweak to, if possible, that we think that could up the performance of the game as a whole. And this one here is actually one little thing Josh and I were talking about before the stream when we were reviewing the game. And if you look at the red cards here, the text at the bottom says you may play another card this turn. The wording on this needs a little tweak, in my opinion,
It
where
should be, this card doesn't cost your.
doesn't take your action.
Yeah. Or
Because
this
you
card
can
could be played
play
freely at
that
any time.
card on another turn. It says this turn.
Well,
You play it on any
No,
turn.
so no, it's you may play another card this turn. The way that I read this is that if I have played another card first, I can't play
this.
that card. But if I play this card first, then this card allows me to play another
Oh.
card. Whereas this
The
card
intent
just does
is-
not require any action to play it, so you can play it regardless of if another card has been played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
this
card
does
is
not eat into your action.
a free card or whatever. Like this card does not
Free
require
action.
an action.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
some other text because
That
that
could be worded better.
So,
That could be worded
because the card led me to believe one thing, the rules clarified it in the other direction. I will say that the rules were extremely well written.
They don't look very big either.
and they
It's
highlighted certain
like
sections of it.
16-point font. It's a 45-player minigame.
Super easy to play, to read.
Yeah.
Super easy to interpret. Everything was laid out extremely nicely. At no point when I'm reading the rules did I have to go back and go, huh? So that's definitely a plus in my book. So just throwing that out there. Anne, any constructive criticisms on your end?
I want to. So there was one illustrator for the game.
Mhm.
It's my understanding. But I saw a lot of discrepancies in the art style when I initially picked up the game.
Okay.
It looks like there's multiple illustrators working on the game. I mean, I'm looking just at these two cards in front of you, and I guess I could see the same artist doing the artwork, but I feel like the artwork on the left is far more, the Good Pirate, Bad Pirate is far more cartoony than the ARG.
Yeah.
I agree. And then if we also look at some of the player cards as well, I think that's where the discrepancy stands out, ignoring the promo captain cards.
And I do want to just make one comment on the promo captain. It's like I get, and I believe these are Kickstarter exclusive. I believe these are Kickstarter exclusive cards, off the bat, the promo cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get that the intent was to bring over a character from a different game to kind of like bridge that gap. I would have liked to see, and I guess this is really a personal choice, but I'd like to have seen the characters reimagined in this art style. But I think that there's an issue where it's inconsistent art style to begin with. Now, I don't know if that player unknown is placeholder text because this is a pre-Kickstarter copy.
Placeholder art.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So
It's not what came out of my mouth, but it is what I meant.
Yeah, because
There we go.
those are even fairly close to each other. The faces look slightly different to me, so I just get a slight feeling of it being different art, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's most noticeable between the captains.
Yeah, I think that the action cards synergize
The action
nicely.
cards, besides that, like, I think besides that one you pointed out, like,
The good pirate, bad pirate. A lot of them have a lot of consistent. But even here, like, I feel like, there you go again. Here and here.
There and there. So
Here's
you've got
I mean, the art is nice, but I just don't like the Forget it. That was bad.
It feels like there's a slight inconsistency there.
It feels unfinished. That's what I'm looking for. I feel like with inconsistent art in a game, it feels unfinished.
All right, Josh, how about you?
I think we mentioned the two minor things, and the art it's just a few, like, it's a few pieces, and it doesn't
it's not
do
like it's the
anything
vast
against the
majority
game.
of the action
and
cards.
it's not that the art's bad either. It's just consistency kind of thing.
I know
It
that
could be unfinished.
I know I could see the cogs turning in your head that you're trying to think of something else that you want to talk about, and that should be something that is a nice plus for this game that you're seeing here is that we're picking out like slightly nitpicky things, and then Josh is having trouble trying to find something.
Screw the sharks.
Oh no, that was so
sharks.
good. That was so good. And I want to know if like they took the time to figure out the correct placement for those obstacles. Because I feel like those sharks at the end, I don't know if they went through like the probability of the rolls and where what lands where, but that was so good.
It's 6 spaces away from this spot, and then you have the opportunity to stop on this, and you would end your turn there. So I don't know if that changes.
No idea.
If that has something to do with it.
No, I'm so happy with it.
That's just stupid sharks.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Everything else on the board, like, we barely touched.
Yep, it was those sharks.
The
that
art
the
for the board
sharks.
was really cool too.
It is. I definitely get the old like Goonies treasure map feel.
Oh, we got Tucker there again.
Oh, hey, Tucker. All right. So, is there anything else that you guys have in terms of constructive criticism?
No, it's a good, quick, fun game. There's really nothing wrong with it.
So that means most important question of the evening. We're gonna start on the far end of the table over there. Josh, would you play this game again?
Yes, and I would be very interested to see this as the 6-player game.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Lots of flag stealing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Anne.
I definitely would play this game again. I would definitely play with my kids. It's definitely a very family friendly game, even though it's take that style. I mean, you got to play it with the right kids because you get 2 siblings stealing the flags back and forth, and I can just hear my boys yelling at each other. Take that style is not my particular style, so it may not be my first go-to for a gateway game, but it'd definitely be one of my top choices.
All right, and I am definitely gonna say yes here. For a take that game, I think it hits nicely on all the aspects. It does not suffer from the standard nope that you get with take that games, and I think that it was super easy to pick up. So this is definitely a great gateway game, and it's quick enough that I could see this being people are just showing up to your house for game night, but not everyone's there yet. Let's bust open the Pirates flag, and let me show you guys this quick game, because it's not going to take a long time to play or learn.
how does one acquire this game? This game will be on Kickstarter next week on the 17th.
All right.
So keep an eye out on our social media. We'll be tweeting about it once it comes out.
Absolutely.
And we'll let you guys know once we have a link for it.
And in the meantime, you can go check out the link that's in that sponsor command there, and that will take you to what, Josh?
Their website where it talks about the game a little bit.
Okay. So is there anything else that either of you two fine folks would like to say?
I won.
One time.
That's fair enough.
I lost both times.
You did. All right, so thank you all for joining us this evening. This was our first impression session of our spotlight for the evening of the Pirates flag. guys, thank you so much for joining us. And if you haven't had a chance, go watch the video on demand of the spotlight session of the Pirates flag. Spoiler alert, Ann and I were the champions, my friend. Oh, yeah. Other than that, thank you for joining us this evening. We would like to point out that this stream and all of this week's streams are sponsored by the Pirates flag as well as Helios Expanse. See you guys later. Take care. I'm Matt.
I'm Ann.
Josh.
At Weird Twist Gaming. Good night, folks.
Good night.